Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have in the studio with us longtime friend and colleague, PR maven. He's the president of Danziger PR, but an author, and we're going to talk about his book, relatively hot off the press, and that is I'm Autistic and I'm Awesome. Derek Danziger, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Drew?
I'm doing just fine, and you're joined by a colleague of yours, Allie Sarnataro. She's executive director of Ride Above Disability Therapeutic Writing Center. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Good. And always a pleasure when I have sitting next to me, often a frequent co-host, Neville Villamoria, Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed Credit Union. How you doing, Neville?
I'm doing great.
And I know why you popped in over here. You got some friends, do you not?
Yes, I do.
That's terrific. We'll start with you on this. Derek, let's just first give a little bit of a shout out to the PR firm. How long you been on your own?
I've been on my own for about a year now.
You're a veteran? Okay, you've been a veteran anyway, for that matter,
yeah,
right?
27 years working in the PR community in San Diego on a variety of wonderful projects and with great firms, and then decided to branch out on my own about a year ago.
Yeah, that's great. How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. And sort of like you, I tend to work on projects where I feel they have a really, important, meaningful impact to the community. And it just makes you feel good, the work that you do.
It does without a question. We're going to get to your book in a second. And Allie, talk about your organization.
Yes, thank you. We are a therapeutic horseback riding center located in Poway, and we teach children and adults of all ages how to horseback ride as a form of therapy for them.
Right. Specifically for those folks who are in autism spectrum, so to speak, or just anybody in general?
Actually, about 50% of our students are on the autism spectrum, right. And then we have a variety of disabilities from cerebral palsy, epilepsy, ADHD, anxiety. So it's a wide range as well.
Right, exactly. So how did you get into being a book writer and an author? Talk about that, Derek.
Writing has always been a passion of mine that I've never done more than, I've written a novel, I've written a number of children's books and things that have sat on my computer and never gone anywhere. And I think it was during COVID that we were home so much, and I was around. I have a son who's on the spectrum, and just watching his behaviors and things, and some of the things that I found so unique and fascinating, I said, this could make for an interesting book that could help other parents and families really kind of better understand their kids or why they act that certain way. So I just started jotting, in this case, notes down that slowly became a book, and then friends said, "Oh, you should do something with that and get an illustrator." And it went from there and there. And I was fortunate to find a publisher that believed in the work. And about a year later, it became a book.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the metrics. And so, Neville, you personally, and of course, Mission Fed are into so many wonderful things in this community, always wanted to, rise, to the bar, some of these issues. Do you have anything that is a connection to autism, other than Derek really well?
Well, actually, my daughter is neuroatypical, so she has dyspraxia, dyslexia. My son has ADHD. I probably have all of them in some shape or form.
Right.
I think the quotas difference is the only thing we have in common.
Right.
So we're all neurodiverse. It's just a matter of degree. And so when I saw that Derek was on the show and the topic was this, I showed up.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Derek, and I apologize for this. I don't know what I was thinking, and I wasn't thinking. We just had a group on that had been the focus of a documentary, Basecliff Bliss, Terrence's Path. It was produced by Patrick Scott, They were just on the show a couple weeks ago, all about autism. And, I meant to get you teed up to see the webinar, sort of a documentary. I'm going to send you the link to that anyway to look at it, because you'd be very much interested in that. And here was someone, the stories on this, that, and the mom was in here with Derek, and just heartbroken telling the stories. He, every little bit he lost his speech, couldn't speak at all. And now, thanks to music, he's going to the Berkeley School, so to speak. Yeah, exactly. And to see this heartwarming and see this, he's now 30, and see this guy is heartwarming. Talk about the numbers when it comes to autism, Derek.
So the statistics are pretty amazing. In the state of California alone, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimate 1 in 22 children ages 8 at age 8 are diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum. So if you were to extrapolate that, it's almost like every single classroom in America has a neurodivergent child of some sort. And autism, when somebody says autism, it's a huge spectrum. So there are people that are completely nonverbal, and then there are people who are able to hear music one time and play a beautiful song on the piano. And so for me, what I wanted to do is say, let's not look at this as a disability, but let's write a book that really capitalizes on the strengths and amazing things that these kids do. And obviously, we have adults on the spectrum as well.
That's right.
But to let a parent sit down with their child and say, hey, you know why your brother and sister does this, or the kid that you have in school that does this, these are more like superpowers or special abilities versus disabilities. And I just wanted something that kind of generated that kind of conversation.
Right, exactly. And what's so important about that, and Allie, you certainly do that with your business as well, is actually just making the general public who do not have any kids that are on the spectrum and all this, or if they have kids or not, to be actually more respectful and to understand that there's really nothing wrong with these folks. They're just different, and they contribute in many ways that other people don't. Talk about how you come across that in your organization.
We have students, every day that are coming out and beating their goals and riding independently. We've had some students who were initially afraid to get on the horse. It took them 3 months to get on. And then maybe 6 months later, they're completely riding on their own independently. And they're just defying all odds with the horses. And we can kind of use the horse as a tool for them to gain confidence. And, they're up on this big animal and they're looking down at us and, look at me, I'm up here riding. And, just to see the smile on their faces every day when they come is amazing.
Right. Is there an age group that gets to be part of your program, or from when to when?
So typically we start them about 4 because younger than that, their head and neck control is not as stable. Okay. And then our oldest, we had one woman who was 95 riding with us.
Oh my goodness! Now, with this, are they also some of the younger kids, or maybe the 95-year-old too? Don't want to leave that person out of the mix, for God's sake. I'll be there shortly, I'm sure. In that vein, do they also have part of the responsibility of taking care of the horses?
Yes. So we teach horsemanship from the ground up. We don't do it for them. It's not a pony ride. We're actually teaching them riding skills. So we'll teach them how to clean the stalls, how to brush the horses, put the gear on, and then actually command their horse to do what they're asking. We don't help them.
Right, exactly. So how does someone get a hold of you? What's the website?
So it's radtrc.org. They can go on there. We have all the information. My contact info is on there as well. And they can just reach out with an email or a call. Right.
Now, do the parents of the folks that go through this program, most likely the 95-year-old doesn't have parents alive, but you never know. But some of the younger kids, do they come along and do they ride with them?
We do have a sibling program as well as a parent program. Yeah. So when we started RAD, we wanted to make it for the whole family, not just the rider or the student. So we do have some siblings riding with us as well as parents. We have Derek's wife actually rides with us as well in the mom's group. So that's been awesome. So yeah, we've extended it to the whole family.
And why isn't Derek riding? We have to ask Derek that. And we will, because we'll get to that in a few seconds. We're chatting with Allie Sarnataro. She is the executive director of Ride Above Disability Therapeutic Writing Center, joined by Derek Danziger, president of Danziger PR, and the author of I'm Autistic and I'm Awesome. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, joined by my longtime friend and colleague and co-host Neville Villamoria, Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed. We're in this beautiful Mission Fed studio here in Scripps Ranch in Mission Fed for 60 years. This has been doing great work for, and you name it, a topic they are involved in this community. So, Derek, this must be just so heartwarming to work with someone like Allie and so forth. And you got the book out now. What has been some of the feedback on the book?
It's been overwhelming. It's been really surprising because this was more or less a passion project for me. I wasn't looking at this as, oh, let's go out and sell 1 million books, but just to get something out there in front of people. And the kind of feedback that I've been getting from parents who have found the book and bought it, or Diane Bell in the Union Tribune wrote a really nice story, and KPBS reached out to me and stuff. So it's been exciting. And as a PR guy, I'll be honest, I felt that I didn't want to promote my own book, because the last thing I wanted to do is do my own PR for that. So it's been friends who've been helping to amplify that message. And as it relates to RAD, our son went to RAD for a number of years, and I can't say enough about the great people and volunteers and program that Allie runs there. And as a part of that, what I committed to is, with my book being out, that I'm going to donate a portion of any proceeds that we receive to RAD as a way to give back to them. So it's the least I could do for what they've been able to do for my kid.
No, but getting the word out is so critical. When we come back from break, we're going to chat more with both Derek and Allie about how do we get the word out, how do we debunk some myths and so forth. I always want to get 2 cents from Neville on this. Sometimes we give Neville change back, sometimes we don't in this aspect of it, but he's always got some great insights on this one. We return with Derek Danziger, president of Danziger PR and the author of I'm Autistic and I'm Awesome, joined by his colleague Allie Sarnataro, executive director of Ride Above Disability and Therapeutic Writing Center. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are back with our good friends Derek Danziger, president of Danziger PR and the author of I'm Autistic and I'm Awesome, joined by Allie Sarnataro. She is the executive director of Ride Above Disability Therapeutic Writing Center, joined by my longtime colleague, friend, and everything in between, Neville Villamoria. He is the senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed, as we were chatting about really getting some important information out about autism. I'll start with you on this, Derek, and you can jump in, Allie, and I always want to hear some of the feedback that Neville has on it. It is so critical. We need to change the dialogue around the diagnosis and really inform people about what this is all about. Talk about that.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said earlier, I mean, autism, a spectrum is a spectrum for a reason. It's because there's a wide array of different behaviors. I have friends who have children on the spectrum that are completely nonverbal and, have to navigate that. Whereas I have others that are just brilliant and are doing amazing, incredible things where their learning and focus and capacity of hearing something one time and doing it over is just incredible. So I just think that again, it's not one size fits all as far as a diagnosis. And given the prevalence of the diagnosis these days in schools, I think it's really important that schools and educators and teachers, families, friends really are understanding and accepting of that wide array of things. And I happen, our children are in the Poway School District, and I want to compliment them as well, because I've found that the resources that they've provided are fantastic. And so, I can only speak for them as a district, but I know it's an important thing for them.
Yeah, Neville, let me ask you this. How do we change the narrative? You're out in the community a lot, and Mission Fed has done great things. Certainly, thank you so much for being a sponsor of Spotlight on the Community, where we can get the word out. How do we change that narrative?
It's education. It's people really and destigmatizing it. So prior to all of our sophisticated ways to diagnose, people just didn't know what the reasons were. The more we get specific about understanding the human brain and our cognitive functions and our neurodiversity, where normal is really defined as the psychopathology of the average. So nobody's normal. There's no such thing as normal. We're all on a continuum, and whether that's the autism spectrum or any other spectrum for that matter. So affirming differences and celebrating the differences and looking for the superpower in each individual and having that capacity, that discernment, I think that's going to change the narrative. So it's destigmatizing it, it's educating, and it's investing in each person's intervention. We were told our daughter was not going to be college ready. We said, screw that.
Exactly.
And she's has a 3.5 GPA, going to a school right now, doing very well, thank you very much. But had I bought the narrative and not had the resources, I don't know what her future would have looked like. So that's in part why I'm here today, is to enlist the support of all parents and say, hey, don't give up. Look for the resources that are available. Look for organizations like these and build community around like-spirited parents and supporters, because sometimes it can be a really hard road.
Well, that is so spot on advice, whether it's autism, whether it's pick a topic, dyslexia, dysgraphia, it doesn't really make a difference on this. You got to believe in this. Quick sidebar before we go over to Allie. My brother had dyslexia. Now this is back, I'm going to date myself because I'm 105 years older than every one of you, but this was like in 1960, 61. But he went to Marianne Frostig, who was a leader, founder in the dyslexia, the Fernald School at UCLA. We were fortunate enough to do it. But back in that day, well, what's wrong with you? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Can you not hear? And all that. You can imagine what it did for his self-esteem. Self-esteem. Probably no different with autism to some extent in that area too. But our folks, just said enough of that nonsense. Helped. My dad taught medicine at UCLA. Of course, we did have the resources as you mentioned, but that doesn't matter in this. Allie, talk about the smiles on not only the faces of the kids that are riding these horses, but their siblings and their parents when they see how these kids have progressed.
Yeah, I mean, usually they bring the whole family out. So sometimes a student comes for a lesson and they have the whole van, all 6 of them come out, and, we have a little viewing area. So everyone just, kind of stands at the sidelines, cheers them on, watches them, and it's a whole community connection. Everybody knows everybody's name and they wave to each other, and all the parents have begun to connect during their lesson time slots and just embrace a sense of community and connect with other people who may be going through something similar. So we're all about, community connections and bringing people together as well.
Right, exactly. And, and with that, certainly, do you have a capacity, let's say people are listening to this podcast or taking up on what Neville just said earlier, earlier, you got to form community groups together to work with, contact Derek and so forth. Mm-hmm. Do you have a waiting list of people that, there's 105 more people that want to jump on these horses?
Actually, we do. So currently we have 75 students riding with us per week. And then we have a wait list of 40 students waiting to get in.
Is that because there's not enough horses or not enough staff or not enough both?
Pretty much both, staff, land, horses.
Okay.
With this job, we can't just have anybody come in and start teaching. We go through a certification process, so they need to be qualified on the horse end as well as the disability end. So it's really like a niche market.
Right. So if you were to wave the magic wand, you control the magic wand. Cloudcast Media has it, and Neville knows that all. And you say, okay, now we just got about 1,500 more acres. Okay, beautiful. We just found people here that can go ahead and work with the horses and work in this spectrum as well. Then what does it take to do that? I'm making it sound like easier than it is, but is just getting the word out with folks on that?
I feel like people hear about us, but it would be more about hiring staff, gaining more volunteers, because some students have 3 or 4 people assisting them at one time.
Okay.
And then some students may need one person helping them. So we rely heavily on our volunteers as well.
Right.
So it's the whole grand scheme of things growing. So volunteers, horses, we'd probably have to get some more horses in and trained. That usually takes about 3 to 6 months to get them fully into our program, as well as training instructors and, the land aspect as well, getting that ready for it to be completely safe for the therapy lessons.
Right. So when somebody's listening to the show and they said, I can donate land, I can donate horses, I can donate X, Y, and Z, and then you go, Drew, thanks a lot. You just created a 24-hour day for me forever. You wouldn't mind that headache, correct?
No, I wouldn't mind at all.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Very good. Shout out that website one more time.
Our website is radtrc.org.
Okay, so how do we get your book, Derek?
The book is currently available on Amazon. That's the one spot. I'm working to try to get it on other online platforms, but you can order it directly from Amazon. You just type in "I'm autistic and I'm awesome" into the search bar, and it pops right up.
Right. Now, are you working with local autism groups, Autism Tree, go down the list of at this point?
I've been actively working to get the word out about the book to all of them. So the Autism Society of San Diego and others. Also looking at local author events and book fairs and things like that. And also to try to get in front of special education teachers who might have a good use for a book like this as a tool. So it's a long process. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's like having a second full-time job, just trying to get out there and get the word out.
So, do me a favor, contact Patrick Scott. Patrick Scott's the director of this documentary. He wasn't in, but the folks that were the focus of it, called Bass Clef Bliss, Terrence's Path, talks all about autism and the spectrum and all that. You'd be blown away by this aspect of it. He is a force, as is the mom of Terrence and all that business. Terrence, overcoming some of this and now going to the Berklee School of Music. Are you kidding me? On this aspect of it, plays trombone. It's a great documentary to see, but that maybe they'll have some folks, that will support what you're doing. Maybe bring some people over to, how do we, do some more eyeballs on this, and here's the need to get those 75 people on the waiting list on horses. Is that right? Did I say
40?
No,
40 on the wait list.
75 are doing it over here.
Right, yes.
Neville, any final comments?
I just want to thank you guys for showing up the way you are in service and support of this community. That's so important. Being an ally is no bystanding. And I think we can transform our world by all of us playing a role, however significant or important. If you have writing skills, write a book like Derek did. If you have a passion for animals and equine therapy, follow Allie's path, but do something. Get out there and serve and support, particularly those that we underestimate. There's so much opportunity that they can create, and the joy that we can provide and the efficacy that we can provide is unrepeatable.
Yeah, as always, some great words from Neville. Allie, any final comments?
I just wanted to say thank you guys, for having me out and learning a little bit more about therapeutic riding and, what we're trying to do for the community. So thank you.
We can't do enough for that. And Derek, so good to see you, my longtime friend. What else can we do to support your efforts?
Just what you're doing is fantastic. I mean, and getting the word out about my book is exciting, but it's more important. It's just, and having the conversation about how we can do better as a community, as a society, to really be accepting of kids that are on the spectrum, and so helping to amplify that is really appreciated.
Well, it's absolutely our honor. It's in the DNA of Mission Fed. They've been doing this for 60 plus years in this aspect of it. But do me a favor, Neville knows what's going to come now. We'd love to have some of the principals on initially, you on the book and over this, and then what you were doing with your organization. But if it makes sense, don't want to break any HIPAA rules or privacy rules, but we've had this before. If you want to bring in somebody who would be willing to come on, one of the students, one of the parents and the student to chat about this. We love doing it. It shows the street cred about what you folks are doing. And if that's a possibility, just shoot me a note and we'll get that going, and they'll be right on that. We do this a lot. We love to have the people that benefit from what the organization is doing on the show as well. So Neville, you heard that was a commitment of yes. Did you hear that, Neville?
I had a heck yes.
Okay, a heck yeah. We'll make sure we do that. We wish you everyone a great weekend. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the community show. We've been doing this now for 17 years, the nation's longest continuous community podcast, thanks to our great friends at Mission Fed Credit Union, this beautiful studio in Scripps Ranch, Mission Fed, continuing to raise the bar for all San Diego County residents for more than 60 years. Hope you enjoyed the program.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.